What's up, everybody? Welcome to Week 12 reaction show on the Fantasy Savvy YouTube channel. I will be joined by High Stakes crew, Joey Brown, Josh Bolin, Dan Jewett, the same usual crew. We will go over some key takeaways from Thursday and Sunday's games. We will preview tonight's Monday night game. As always, we'll each give one player prop towards a five leg parlay. You guys can do with that as you will. You can put in individual bets that you like. You can make it a 5 leg parlay. You can tail us any way you want, but we will each give 5 props that we like and discuss Week 12 reaction. We'll talk a little bit about our fantasy teams as well. So sit back and enjoy the show. Let's get right to it. All right, we're here. Week 12 is in the books, gentlemen. How you guys doing tonight?
Good.
Hanging in there.
Dan, you feeling better? You're doing better this week?
I was questionable leading into today, but I'm good to go. I'm starting tonight.
Nice. All right. So why don't we start with the Patriots-Bengals game, since we got Patriots and Bengals fans here. Let me bring that up real quick. I'm so unprepared tonight. So just so you guys know, I worked all day, 5 a.m. to 5:30. I work for Coca-Cola. It's Thanksgiving week. I've been fucking breaking my balls. Joey, you know you're a Pepsi guy. You've been out there fixing fountain machines and whatnot, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
But we'll do the best we can with recapping the week for you. I got a good crew with Dan, Josh, and Joey carry me through this one. So we'll start with, usually we start with injuries, but for some reason I jumped right to the Bengals Patriots game. We'll hit injuries after that. All right, so we got 26-20 Patriots win. It wasn't the big blowout. We thought a lot of people were thinking Patriots were going to hang 40 on Cincy. I didn't necessarily thought that. I think when I was talking with a couple of the guys I work with, I was saying it was going to be like 31-24, 31-20, 28 to somewhere around there. I thought it would be like a 7 or a 10-point win. I didn't think that they were going to hang 40. I thought Chase Brown was going to be decent, and he was. Cincinnati hung tough. They got a pick 6 on Drake May. They made his life a little bit difficult in this one. I talked about it with Steve. He was like, should we play Hunter Henry? Because we have Hunter Henry. And I was like, we're definitely playing Hunter Henry. And then I tried to tell him, with the New England offense, it's not about identifying who's going to be productive. It's trying to figure out which one of the guys is going to be the decoy. And then I said to him, I was like, I hate to say it because I have Diggs on some of my biggest teams. I think Stephon Diggs is going to be the bystander this week. He can attest to it. We talked about it before we set our lineup. But anyways, we played Hunter Henry. I knew, Cincinnati bleeds points to the tight ends. So Hunter Henry was a shoo-in. I thought it was going to be underneath receivers and running backs altogether. So it kind of played out how I thought it was going to play out. T. Higgins ended up getting injured. Booty, Hollins, Diggs, all the targets got spread around, so none of those guys were really fantasy relevant as far as points go. They all scored under 5 points. But I'll kick it over to my Bengals guys and let you guys give thoughts on this game. What do you think? Dan?
Go ahead,
Dan,
the Bengals defense came out, tried to play tough,
I guess, I mean, you say it's probably their best showing. I don't know, our best showing of the year. I mean, if you throw out week one, is lowest point total. I know that we've held a team to since week one. Looks like the Joe Flacco era may have come to an end. He was great while he was there. I mean, fantasy wise, he made the Bengals players viable again. Unfortunately, though, for the Bengals, I mean, I think those first few weeks, I don't think there's anything that Burrow could have done better than Flacco did. I mean, he was cranking out the points. This week, maybe Burrow could have made a little bit of a difference. I just don't know how fast Burrow will start out coming back. I mean, I know that they say he's healthy, but he's a slow starter anyways. So, but the pressure's on. So I guess we'll see Thursday. We're going to see him Thursday night. It sounds like. One thing that was highly frustrating, and I think that Mike Vrabel just wants to be the bane of fantasy football's existence with TreVeyon Henderson. TreVeyon gets down to the 1, and then they bring in Terrell Jennings for a run.
Yeah, what's up with that?
And it's like, we're crazy. We're Bengals fans, but we also do a little sports betting. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that I really needed TreVeyon Henderson to score. I don't have him on any of our fantasy teams anywhere, but would have really liked to see him get in the end zone there. And he does all the hard work and then doesn't even get a shot to put it in. It's frustrating.
Nice. Joe, you have any? Go ahead, Dan.
I just say, as a Bengals fan, when we traded for Joe Flacco, we didn't know what to expect. He exceeded our expectations as an NFL quarterback. I mean, fantasy was great too, but hats off to Joe Flacco. He's a fan. I'm a fan of his for life for what he did. And a couple things I want to throw into what Josh said for the Bengals, since this is a fantasy show for the next couple weeks with T. Higgins. If you saw that nasty concussion he took, Yoshi's been getting a lot of targets. Look for him next week against a Baltimore D that's susceptible to the slot a little bit. And Gesicki was back. He got 6 targets this week. So, one other guy I like to talk about, I wouldn't pick him up yet, but just a guy I've been watching, is that Mitchell Tinsley. He was the preseason darling for us, scored a touchdown. Could be a name maybe next year, but a couple guys to watch on your waiver wire if you're in a deep doo-doo for Week 14 waivers coming up.
Yeah, definitely Gesicki. He's consistent when either T or Chase is out. He's good for about 6 catches and 50+ yards. So
yep.
Joe, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I was kind of like Josh said. I thought TreVeyon Henderson would score, especially him playing at Ohio State. I said he probably had some people there watching him too, some of his friends. I figured he'd get in the end zone, but I'd like to see the New England start getting in the end zone a little bit more. At least they need to throw the ball.
Yeah, right. Well, it was good to see TreVeyon had 18 carries, 66 yards, and Ramondre only 6 carries for 5 yards. So, they are leaning towards TreVeyon Henderson over Ramondre. I mean, we do have one more week. This was Ramondre's first week back. So I guess one more week of this type of reps, and I'll feel pretty confident about TreVeyon Henderson going forward. I think it's going to stick. But you never know with Vrabel. So, and McDaniels especially, like you said, he get down to the 1 yard, and that was Terrell Jennings' only carry too.
Who's backing up Chase Brown now? Brooks is out with a concussion this week too.
P. Ryan practiced today, so he should be back.
Okay. I forgot about him.
My favorite player of all time.
Yeah.
Chris Evans. Is he still on the roster? Nice. All right. Now that we got the hometown game out of the way, Dan and Josh will take us through injuries. I don't know which one of you guys want to take the lead there, but
let me do it, Dan.
Go ahead, Josh. You got more.
So we hit on T. Higgins concussion on Sunday and turnaround playing on Thursday. It's pretty much impossible to make it through protocol for that. So he's going to be out Thursday. Baker Mayfield looks like a minor shoulder sprain on his non-throwing shoulder. It did take him out of the game in the second half last night, but they say there's no structural damage, and they're not ruling him out for week 13 just yet. Ashton Genty went down with ankle injury late against the Browns. He didn't score, but the game was pretty much over by that point anyways. I've not heard anything today on that. Alvin Kamara went out with a knee injury. It's an MCL, and he got an MRI today, but I didn't hear anything on the results of that yet. Devin Neal, that's a guy right there. Kendra Miller's on IR. So Devin Neal, if he's not rostered in your fantasy league, that's a guy to go out and snatch up right now. DK Metcalf went out with an ankle injury at least once, maybe twice yesterday, but ended up back on the field. So, I mean, he's probably fine. Big hit for the Patriots, though, was Will Campbell getting injured yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Does sound like he avoided anything major. Looks like, he might go on IR but be back for the playoffs. So that's a plus for the Patriots.
They lost two offensive linemen, actually. The other rookie on the left side, the left guard, I forget his name. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
Jared Wilson and Morgan Moses both went down.
Yeah.
So they had three go down yesterday, I guess. I didn't know about the third one.
We know that Justin Herbert and the Chargers, when they lost Joe Alton and other pieces of their offensive line, things did not go well. So
yes.
I should have brought that up during the when we reviewed the game, but I'm a little concerned, not going to lie, because last year you saw how our offensive line was last year without the rookies. So it's a little concerning, but we have a pretty good cushion on the Buffalo Bills. So hopefully, the Chiefs did some dirty work for us this week. They beat the Colts, so we gained the game on them as far as home field advantage goes. So but I am a little bit worried for Drake May, just a little bit.
Could be. Maybe he'll just run a little more or scramble some, pass the ball more. Maybe the running game won't be as strong. And then the last injury just popped up today magically. J.J. McCarthy is in concussion protocol. Finished the game yesterday, but went in concussion protocol on Monday afternoon.
I like that, Dan.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Nice. All right. Thank you, Josh, for catching us up with the injuries. Now I'll kick it. We'll go down and around the horn for our key takeaways. We'll start with you, Dan. Give us your first key takeaway from Sunday's games.
One of the games I was watching the most this weekend for fantasy reasons was the Lions and the Giants. Kind of a weird game. Giants got off to a big lead. Lions came back, obviously won the game, but didn't look great throughout the game. But on the Giants side of the ball, can we get Jameis Winston a starting job already? Every time the guy plays, all he does is have fun and get everybody involved points. So I don't know about you guys, but I did bet Jameis Winston to have more receiving yards than Jameson Williams. Did you guys do the same thing? If you guys didn't see that, Jameis Winston had one hell of a 30-some yard touchdown catch, but
I did see it
with a broken tackle.
He scored.
I'll give him the broken tackle.
But Jameis, Wan'Dale Robinson, what a game! 9 for 156 and a touch. Absolutely, probably helped you win a week if you had him. Isaiah Hodgins is a name we haven't heard for 3 or 4 years. Comes out, scores a touchdown, gets 6 targets again. We talked about him last week. But Winston looked good for fantasy. Had one interception, but on the Lions, if you had Jahmyr Gibbs, you won your week, unless you had one of my teams, but that's a side note. But 219 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. I think I mentioned it last week with Laporta out. Gibbs is the number one first read option for Jared Goff. He had 12 targets, 11 catches overall. I didn't even look. I think he had 55 some NFFC points. Top 10 game of all time for running back. Just won you the week. Hopefully propelled you into the playoffs. Amon-Ra St. Brown doing what he does. Got you up there 9 for 149 and a touch. Jameson Williams, though, like me and Josh were both talking. We both played him without talking in our one and done league this week, where we could pick one player per week to start at receiver. And we picked Jameson Williams, just kind of following how good he's been and the trend that was going. And he gets a 0 with 3 targets. I don't. If somebody can help me explain that, that'd be great. But overall, kind of just a fun game to watch. A lot of fantasy stuff. So I'll let you guys talk about that.
I was gonna say that's always an option with Jameson Williams. Is that
2 of the last 5 weeks?
When he put up the 0, 4 weeks ago or whatever, then Dan Campbell took over play calling, and he's been highly involved and getting the ball. And that's why my thought process was, man, while he's hot, now's the time to go with him. So play him on Thanksgiving, because he's going to have a bounce back game.
Nice. All right. So, any thoughts on Joe? You want to chime in about Tyrone Tracy?
Yeah, he looked really good in that game too. He like they've said. I mean, Jameis Winston brings the best out of all these guys. I mean, Tyrone Tracy played really good. He had a couple catches, I think, for 62 yards on top of his rushing. He had like 16 points yesterday.
Yeah, 16 fantasy points, 3 catches, 68 yards, 20 carries, 62 yards. He's getting the volume. He is the running back that gets the volume. I mean, Singletary did have 14 carries for 47 yards. One thing to note, though, this week, Singletary went without a catch. And he was normally been the one getting the 3 or 4 catches, and Tracy was the one only with maybe one or 0 catches, and it kind of flipped the script this week. Something to pay attention to going forward. I don't know if Jameis Winston being the quarterback over Jackson Dart has anything to do with that, but it very much could. Just something to make note of, because I've been saying, Devin Singletary is the running back to own here, but Tyrone Tracy has been consistently getting 15 touches regardless. It's just, Singletary's been getting the more high potential touches, the more important touches, the goal line carries, the third down roll. But Tracy seems to, I think, with Jameis Winston at quarterback, maybe he prefers Tyrone Tracy in there over Singletary. It could be just a chemistry thing or just a game plan thing based on what type of quarterback they have playing quarterback. So something to monitor. We'll kick it over to Josh. Josh, what do you got for your first takeaway from this weekend's games?
Let's talk about the Chiefs and the Colts. I love going to the Colts after the Bengals. Danny Dimes is coming back down to earth a little bit here. Chiefs was in a must-win game. If they lose yesterday, they are way on the outside looking in for playoffs. But they pulled out a win. Good teams and good coaches. They figure out how to win games. Really, just I guess, as me and Dan, we drafted Rashee Rice. Felt like we got good value on him, considering he was going to miss the first 5-6 weeks of the season, and then bam, you get a healthy number 1 wide receiver to come in for the second half of the fantasy season, and he, got. Let's see here, where they just disappeared on me. I had their stats up here. Mahomes put up a ton of yards, couldn't get any touchdowns. Rashee Rice had 8 catches for 141 yards. Would like to have got him in the end zone, though. I don't know. I can't figure out why the Chiefs aren't just, I just keep waiting for them to flip that switch and be scoring at will. But Jonathan Taylor, the Chiefs defense shut him down. But he'll be just fine. He'll bounce back. The Chiefs defense honestly just played lights out against the Colts. But yeah, that was just kind of my thing. I'm just Chiefs move the ball, but they just can't get in the end zone, and I look for them to get that figured out.
Jonathan Taylor got the Houston defense next week. Interesting. 2 out of the last 3 games, he's given us less than 10 fantasy points, but the game against Atlanta, he gave us 50. So, how could you really can't complain? But it's showing that he is human, I guess. And I suppose you want to get those less than 10s out of the way before the playoffs start, because he does have what's he got? They got Houston Week 13, Jacksonville Week 14, Seattle Week 15, San Fran Week 16, and then Jacksonville again on Week 17. So not a bad playoff schedule. Jacksonville twice over the next 4 weeks. They're better against the pass than they are against the run. So this could be a run-heavy approach for Indy down the stretch. I think they need to start leaning on him, actually, because, like you said, Daniel Jones is starting to show signs of past, we'll say last year, the past couple of years, Daniel Jones. He's not playing as good as he was earlier in the year. I think this is the difficult part of the schedule. We happened to mention that a few weeks back, that we could maybe need to start tempering expectations with him going forward based on the schedule. And I guess it's kind of holding water a little bit. I mean, he still put up 22 fantasy points in the NFFC scoring system, which it's not great, but it's also not terrible. 22 is a pretty good floor. So, if you get 22 out of your quarterback and you're surrounded by a pretty good lineup, then you can survive 22. But yeah.
That's a credit to Hall of Famer Steve Spagnuolo. He ain't gonna let Jonathan Taylor beat you. He's gonna let Daniel Jones try to beat you. And Alec Pierce didn't do much. Pittman was limited. Daniel Jones was still decent, like you talked about fantasy wise. But I say they keyed in on Jonathan Taylor that whole time. If I was guessing, they can't let him go off, so it hurt us fantasy wise.
Nice. So Kareem Hunt had a pretty good day. 30 carries, 30 rushing attempts, 104 yards and a touchdown, 21 fantasy points. Brashad Smith, still not a thing. Still only getting 3 catches per game. 3 catches, 31 yards, 1 rush for 5 yards, only 4 touches. Seems like his opportunity's just not there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire actually had more touches than he did. With 7.
I just don't get that. I don't know. It's like I feel like he does well with the opportunities he gets, right? So he got 1 rush, he gets 5 yards. Like, let's feed him, figure out a way to get the ball in his hand a couple more times. But it's Andy Reid, so I don't want to question Andy Reid. I think he's a great football mind. So, but I don't get the Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Does anybody else feel like Xavier Worthy is due for a breakout soon? Like maybe this week against Dallas? Like he's been kind of quiet, like a 2 touchdown, 4 catch, 100-yard game. For the Turkey Bowl this week, maybe just throwing it out there.
A name like that, yeah.
I
play like that can win it.
He was involved early on in this game, and then they kind of went away from him. Did you guys notice that?
Agreed. Yep.
So I don't know if he's still got a nagging injury or if he's not 100%. But he seems like the type of player that if he's not 100%, he's not going to give you 100% fantasy results, I guess. So I suppose, but he's little, he's shifty. We know that guys like Travis Kelsey bump into him, he ends up with like an upper body injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm getting the gut feeling that he's maybe not 100%. And they tried to get him involved. Like I said, they tried to get him involved early on, and then they went away from him. So that's gonna tell me that he's not 100%. But yeah, Dan, I agree with you. He's gonna have a breakout game at some point. He's a key point of this off. If this team is going to make the playoffs and make a playoff run, he's got to be a part of it. He's their big play threat. Rashee Rice is their bread and butter, but Worthy is their break the field, break open a big play, push the defense back type of player. So they need to find a way to get him consistently involved. Joe, what do you got for us, man? What do you want to talk about?
I'm going to bring up a player in a game that this is for dynasty owners and superflex people. We have to give credit where credit's due. Cam Ward looked good this weekend against a tough team, tough defense. I mean, the reason I'm saying I picked him up in FFPC just as a third quarterback for $2 or $3. Everybody's been dropping him. Not that he played a good game this weekend. I mean, he had a rushing TD and a passing TD. He had 37 yards on the ground and a touchdown, and DK looked good again. He had a special teams touchdown and a receiving touchdown. I know we usually talk about, we talk about JSC and Seattle game, but Tennessee hung tough, which, I mean, you like that in a garbage time if you use any of them guys.
I like that you brought that up because, Joe, I definitely do think he's got a bright future. He's been getting a lot of hate. I think it's got to do with he's kind of like I don't want to compare him to Drake May, but like Drake May was on a team last year with a terrible offense, no weapons, bad offensive line, and he steadily showed improvement and showed flashes, I guess, that the future is going to be bright. So I kind of seeing the same thing out of Cam Ward. His footwork looks pretty good. His pocket presence, like you said, Joe, you watch the games and he looks good. Like he looks comfortable. You can see that he looks better than JJ McCarthy. I'll say that. And yeah, Shamir DK, it was good to see him get back involved in the passing game and not just giving us points via the special teams. He gave us 5 catches, 44 yards, and a touchdown. So, then a punt return touchdown for 21.4 fantasy points. And I'm thinking my lucky stars that Mr. Glenn Lowy left him on the bench because I want to talk about my sweat. Now that I got a chance to bring up Glenn, I'm going against Glenn. You guys know Glenn Lowy. I'm sure you drafted Vegas. We're both 8-3 in our New York primetime draft. He's got the first place points pretty locked up. He's got a nice 70, 80 point cushion. But if I beat him this week, then I kind of control my destiny for the next 2 weeks. If I can win out and finish with the best record, I'll earn a chance to face off against him in a 3-week shootout for the league title. So tonight's a big matchup. Alvin Kamara getting hurt and only giving me 3.5 points kind of hurt me a little bit because if he stayed healthy, I would assume that he would have gotten me somewhere between 10 and 15 points on volume alone. Kind of sucks. I had positive vibes and positive outlooks going forward for Alvin Kamara, and knee injury does not look good. I think I'm probably not going to have him the rest of the year. That's just being realistic. I know we don't have an actual timetable yet, but he's no spring chicken, and he's got a knee injury. So we're talking about MCL. at his age and the amount of tread on his tires, he's probably going to be out for 2 to 4 weeks, would be my guess, if he doesn't hit IR. And the fact that the Saints really aren't playing for anything, it leaves me not optimistic. But anyways, I have a 30.95 point lead going into tonight, and Glenn has Ricky Pearsall and the 49ers defense. What do you guys think of my chances here? They're just under 31 points.
Well, you need a couple touchdowns from Carolina to knock off 8 points off that. At least, I'm talking about you start out with 12?
Yeah.
So
I'd always rather have the points that need to make up the points. I'd rather be in your shoes, Joe. I think it's close. Well, Pearsall didn't do much last week, so
it's going to be close, right?
Yeah. What did Pearsall have last week? 1 catch. He'll probably have 4 or 5 tonight, but
it was his first week back, so yeah.
There's a lot of mouths to feed there to worry about Pearsall, I think.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Pearsall first touchdown, guys. Just excuse me real quick. First touchdown.
That's what happened, probably.
If he stays out of the end zone, I think I'm all right. If Bryce Young doesn't throw a pick six or somehow they give up a touchdown, Pearsall and the 49ers D don't get any touchdowns, I think I'm good. But it's close. I would say if I was the sleeper app, I'd probably have me at about 54%. So shout out to the chat. Pete Sandoval from the sports affiliation. Most of you guys don't know because I'm on Steve's channel, but I do a show for the sports affiliation, part of that crew. If you're not subscribed to the sports affiliation, that's where you can find my other show, Aces Up. We run every Tuesday night. Pete is our promoter. Great guy. He's been getting on the camera too the past couple of weeks. He's been active. He knows his stuff. Good dude. Love you, Pete. Thanks for tuning in, man. All right, so it's my turn. I want to talk about the Arizona Cardinals because as far as my in-season management goes, my Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold and Jackson Dart, yeah, but there is one team, my first auction that I ever did, where I did roll with Kyler Murray as my QB1 going into the season, and when he went down, I took a shot on Jacoby Brissett, and that was a good shot because he's been excellent. He's NFFC scoring. He's gotten just under 30 points almost every single week. This past week, only 23.85, but still a solid performance. He broke a record last week for pass completions in a game. He's, again, 49 pass attempts, 33 completions, 317 yards and a touchdown. So he goes over 300 yards again, chips in 20 rushing yards. I also have Trey McBride on this team, which is kind of why I ended up with Kyler Murray. I went for the stack. But I also picked up Michael Wilson a few weeks back. And this past week, when Marvin Harrison was ruled out again, I decided to take a shot on Greg Dortch, and I went full Arizona stack. And so, Michael Wilson again gave us double-digit receptions. He had 15 catches last week, 10 catches this week for 118 yards, 21.8 PPR points. Greg Dortch, similar stat line. Last week it was 6 for 66. This week, 6 for 53 and a touchdown, 16.8 points. Offense is operating so much better with Jacoby Brissett. I mean, he's not the greatest, but he's been better than Kyler Murray. He's given the pass catching options on this team life, especially Trey McBride, who's been getting in the end zone more. He didn't get in the end zone this game, but he did have 9 catches for 79 yards. It's sad to see that they lost this game 27-24, despite Trevor Lawrence throwing 3 interceptions and trying to give them the game. All those people that were steaming up Bashal Tootin this week. I feel bad for you. My buddy Pete Supernova Pete, shout out Pete. He posted on X this week, who should I play, Yoshi or Tootin? And I want to say when I responded, Yoshi, there was like 4 or 5 responses, and they were all Tootins. And I was like, I don't know, man. I think Travis Etienne is the guy there. I think Tootin he kind of gets lucky with some goal line. He does get goal line carries, but that's always been the case with Etienne that Jacksonville's shied away from using him around the goal line. But Tootin ended up giving us a dud in this game, only 7 carries for 17 yards. Etienne had 15 carries, 86 yards, 3 catches, 30 yards, and a touchdown. So he gave us 20.6 fantasy points. He looked like the spark plug for that offense, other than Parker Washington, obviously. Parker Washington has stepped in since Brian Thomas has gotten injured, and he's been pretty consistent. Anybody that invested fab in him a few weeks back, I'm not one of them. I don't have any Parker Washington shares. Sadly.
Dropped him.
You had him and dropped him. Jacoby Myers found the end zone too. I'm kind of liking, Lamb Cohen knows what to do with the pieces that he has. I will say that he hasn't done anything for Brian Thomas, that's for sure. But I kind of think this was a lost season for Brian Thomas, along with injuries. Obviously, he hurt his hand early in the year, and that kind of lingered through the first few games. And then I think he kind of lost trust in Trevor Lawrence. A lot of the passes that, they would give, what do they call them?
Hospital balls.
Hospital balls, yeah. He got a couple of hospital balls in a row, and it kind of made him a little bit timid, especially where he was already kind of banged up. So I it sucks for all the people that drafted Brian Thomas. I'm one of them.
Brenton Strange makes that offense a little bit better too.
Yeah, he was back this week.
Nice waiver wire pickup this week.
5 catches, 93 yards. Yeah, that is nice. If you needed a tight end this week, and you scooped them up and played them, good for you. 14.
I tell you, what you talk about,
points.
Liam Cohen, a little bit going back a little bit. Was he with when Cooper Kupp went crazy? Was he the OC in 2021? I think he was
for the Rams.
Yes, back then.
Right.
But then he went to Kentucky and he used Wan'Dale Robinson in the slot like that. Back when he was really big for Kentucky, so he's pretty good OC.
Yeah, he knows he is actually a very good football coach too. I think he's gotten the most out of that team for sure. I wasn't projecting a winning record for them at all, because I'm not a Trevor Lawrence truther.
No, he's overrated.
But I think overall he's done pretty well. NFL wise, fantasy football wise, they haven't given us much. Etienne's been solid based on his draft value. Parker Washington emerging now as a great free agent pickup, but Brian Thomas disappointed. Brenton Strange was also a late round flyer. He ended up kind of busting early on and then missing some time. But his first game back from the injury, he turned in a pretty good performance. But this was a pretty competitive, kind of high scoring game, 27-24. So something to note. Trevor Lawrence did end up with 3 passing touchdowns, which is surprising to me. Like I said, three interceptions, you should be losing this game, and they end up winning. So Arizona running back situation, again, seems to be like just a committee approach where none of them are really reliable. Bam Knight scored a touchdown. I think he left the game injured. I don't know if he's got a serious injury. Josh, you didn't bring it up, but I do remember I don't know if I was watching or listening to the game. if I was still at work. If I was still at work, I was listening to the game. But
They
I
need
do.
Benson back next week, don't they?
He overcame. Okay, here it is. He overcame a minor ankle injury. Okay, so he's fine. I think he ended up just missing a little bit of the game, and he came back. But yeah, Arizona running back's not reliable. Michael Carter, Bam Knight, both combined for 15 carries and 40 yards. Bam Knight ended up getting a touchdown, but not much going there. But that's pretty much it for that game. We'll kick it over to you, Dan. What else you got for us?
Let's kick it over to the Dallas Philly game. I know they had a lot of fantasy players for a lot of us. It was really cool to see the Eagles go up 21-0 and then just completely lay down the last three quarters. For those of us that had a fanball team that was way up there with Eagles stacks, just talking for a friend. But looking at the Eagles, Barkley, man, he saved himself with 7 for 52 receiving, but they just didn't use him. They're trying to do this A.J. Brown thing, which was great. They didn't win the game, but they got A.J. Brown as stats. So he did 8 for 110 and a touchdown. So he looked good. Devonta had 89 for 6. He looked good. Jalen Hurts, he played him with his 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 passing touchdown. I think he had 30-some NFFC points. And then one of the best texts I got last night was from Josh. He said, "Is George Pickens Dak's favorite receiver?" And I think he is. Dak 350, 148 of that to George Pickens and a touchdown. Pickens looks good, guys. Like, I think he's a top 2 or 3 NFFC receiver on the year right now. And just another great game. He's winning you leagues. CD did 4 for 75. Javonte had his 80 yards rushing. But most of your fantasy guys in this game did okay. Had a couple busts and then a couple boomers. But would like to see the Eagles not just completely choke it at the end and get us some more fantasy points. But see what you guys think.
The Dak Pickens stack is part of my Scott Fishbowl formula, and that's been pretty good. I waited on quarterback. Dak was the first person I took. George Pickens seems to, in Scott Fishbowl score, and seems to be getting me between 40 and 50 points every single week. And I kind of built around that. Like, that was like the one thing that I targeted during that draft. The rest of it was I was just going to take the best player that I was looking to target as far as volume goes, because it's all scoring systems really all volume based. But I wanted to make sure that I got Dak Pickens stack. So I like that call, Dan. He definitely seems to be the favorite wide receiver for Dak. He just that one ball that he threw up until it was like double or triple coverage, and Pickens just came down with it. That goes to show you how much trust he's earned.
He has more yards this year than all Steelers receivers combined.
Pickens has that trust with Dak because 9 targets, 9 catches. CD 11 targets, 4 catches. Like, I think this is 3 games in a row where CD's had some passes that are right there, and he's just dropping balls that are hitting him in the numbers, hitting him in the hands, and that's not helping his case with Dak.
Nice. We do Pickens is the new Dez. Steve. We do have a question in the chat. Some we got Bronco 1231342 25 wants to know Rome Fabrice straight up trade.
I wish he put his other part of his roster on there. I don't know how to answer that.
Depends what you need. Right. It's pretty equal.
Context definitely matters. I will say this. The Chicago offense is very, very, very hard to predict week to week as far as the pass catches go. I feel like the only thing that's been constant is been Colston Loveland. And I'm not even talking about production. I'm just talking about targets and receptions. I think you can count on 4 to 6 receptions and 7 to 8 targets every week from here on out for him. But again, I can say this, and then next week Cole Kmet will have 4 catches for 78 yards and 2 touchdowns, and it'll completely cancel out what I just said. So it's very hard to pick out who's going to do good in that game. Much like I mentioned earlier in the show about the Patriots, it's not so much trying to figure out who's going to do good. It's who's the one that they think the defense is going to be game planning for, and we're going to decoy this guy, and we're gonna use who the defense might be leaving open. I don't know. I kind of feel like that's how it goes. Joey, you mentioned something a couple of weeks ago. When they play zone, Roma Dunze does really well, and when they play man, DJ Moore plays better. So I think there's a lot of research that goes into which Chicago Bears wide receiver is going to be productive and which one is going to be, not so much part of the game plan. And I think a lot of that has to do with Caleb Williams not being fully polished yet. He's definitely getting better, but I just don't think he can sustain everybody in one particular game unless it's a crazy shootout type of game. So that's kind of how I see it. Once Ben Johnson figures out what's working, he kind of goes, he kind of hammers it. That's why that's why you get those 2 touchdown performances. DJ Moore was the guy this week. Roma Dunze had 2 touchdowns one time. I can think of Colston Loveland having a couple of, the 2 touchdown games, with that broken coverage at the end of the game, where he really broke open his performance. So I just it's really like a hot hand type of deal. Like which player is exploiting the defense.
Luther Burden's getting more involved too.
Yeah, I think Luther Burden, like Zacchaeus has definitely been phased out for Luther Burden. I think he's the one that takes the hit the most. But Rome is tough, man, and Brees is getting volume. Brees is the running back there. Isaiah Davis gets in there every now and then too, but Brees is pretty consistent. He's given you a better floor than Rome is, I suppose. But it's definitely aggravating having a Bears wide receiver for sure, because they're volatile. One week they give you a 26, the next week they give you a 7. So,
and you notice the wide receivers are getting more involved because Swift has faded here the last 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know if it's a good point injury or not. He was all centered around him early on. He was having good weeks in fantasy.
And then Monangai getting more involved kind of puts a ding on Swift too, kind of hurt him how he was going the past couple of weeks. But that's a tough. I mean, like you said, Joe, the context definitely matters, but it's pretty even.
I hate to tell him wrong. I guess what I'm getting at. I mean, if he needs Brees, he knows his roster better than what we do, but I don't want to tell him wrong without knowing what he's got.
But all right, who are we on? Is it Josh? Did we leave off on Josh, or was it?
Yeah, Dan did Philly, Dallas, and let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson, to me, doesn't look like he's completely healthy. I know he had the one scramble in the red zone yesterday. He barely made it to the sideline, and that's normally on a scramble like that. That's something where it looks like, he's usually getting that ball in the end zone. Him not being able to maneuver, I think, is affecting him a little bit. But having said that, they do get the Bengals defense Thursday night. So maybe Derrick Henry.
Toe injury. I'm seeing
Mark
toe
Andrews.
injury
On who? On who?
on Lamar.
Is that what it is? See, I thought it was a hamstring. Is it a hamstring and a toe injury?
And then the ankle last week. Last week.
Well, he came out in a full body cast in his presser, so
Mhm.
That's right. He drives me nuts with that. He reminds me of Kadarius Toney for some reason.
here's Tony.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he swindled us all. Remember that year we all took him in like the 6th, 7th round, and he would he give us a 0.3, a 1.6, and then we dropped him. Yeah, Kadarius Toney, great name drop.
Yeah. Yeah. Lamar had 7. He had 7 carries for 11 yards, and I think he got 8 on that one carry inside the red zone. All their tight ends will be in play on Thursday night. I thought Andrews got dinged up, but he didn't show up on the injury report that I read. So might have to look into that.
Only 3 targets for the tight end.
Yeah.
Against the Jets. Yeah.
Yeah, likely had 3. Andrews 3. I don't know. Derrick Henry still 64. Like, I think there's something to that. I forget what they call it, but 375 touches when running backs go over that. I mean, you look at Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, both of them was well over that last year. And
curse of 370. The curse of 370. Yeah,
they're struggling to get their numbers here as we get deeper into the season. So something I'm watching there.
Although I will say this, the fact that he had 2 touchdowns that saved his fantasy day, and you mentioned Lamar being hurt, I think Derrick Henry is probably in line to get all the goal line touches going forward as long as Lamar is not 100%. So something to, there is a positive here for Derrick Henry. I want to bring up somebody on the opposite side from the Jets, John Mechie. 6 catches, 65 yards and a touchdown. I wish I had the balls to play him over Stephon Diggs because I did. Every time I try to bench a consistent guy that's been in my starting lineup, and I put in that one guy I think that's going to do good, they never ever given me a performance. But this week I just knew. Like I said, I mentioned it to Steve. I just had a feeling Stephon Diggs was going to be not part of the game plan this week. Like, he's been heavily involved the past 3 weeks, and I just didn't have the balls to sit Stephon Diggs and start John Mechie. But man, if I did, that would have been a 16-point decision right there, because Mechie gave us an 18.5, and I think Diggs had like 2 catches for 20 yards. So.
That's one key thing we can tell the audience. Never quit. I always use a waiver wire. Like we're talking about Mechie, Greg Dortch.
I picked up Mechie last week in a couple spots, and in one of them being the prime time, and it's nice little depth piece going on right now, because he's given us two solid performances in a row, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, 3 catches for 45 yards last week and a touchdown. He's found the end zone twice. This week, 6 catches, 65 yards and a touchdown. 10 targets through 2 games, 9 catches on 10 targets. He's averaging over 10 yards per catch. So he's getting first downs. He's given the Jets a good pass catching option, with Garrett Wilson being pretty much done for the year, I believe. But John Mechie, man, if he's available in your league, he's someone worth scooping up.
Absolutely.
And Breece Hall, again, consistent volume, 20 touches, over 100 total yards, 109 to be exact, 75 rushing, 44. That's actually more than 119. I did my math wrong. 119 total yards for Breece Hall, 15 fantasy points, just under. So, he's going to give you a solid 10 to 15 point floor week in and week out. So going back to that Rome for Brees trade, guess it all depends on how much you need a running back and what you got for sailing and consistent pieces in your wide receiver room. If you can afford to give up Rome for a running back that gives you a consistent floor, then that's probably a trade you should make.
Yeah.
So, what do we got, Joey? Anybody else you want to talk about here?
Yeah.
Before we move on to the Monday night game.
I mean, despite the injury, are y'all guys worried about Ibuka? I mean, he's not done nothing the last few weeks. I mean, he's a fantasy darling early on in the first half of the season. The second half of the season, he's calmed down some. But I guess he's getting all the coverage on him now too. And then they both had targets. Kate Otten had 7 and he had 8 last night. But I don't know. I hope Baker plays. If not, their outlook looks really bad.
Is it a Buka problem, or is it just a Tampa Bay offense problem in general? Without Mike Evans being there, without Chris Godwin all year, Bucky Irvin going down. We know Rashad White is okay, but he's not somebody. Right. Yeah, he's not somebody that's gonna, the defense is gonna focus on. So, I think that the injuries combined with the fact that they don't have any major player that's going to attract the defenses and change game plans for defenses, it's allowed teams to kind of figure out what they've been doing and kind of shut it down. So I think it's a offense as a whole problem as well, not just an Ibuka problem. Ibuka seems to be the guy taking the brunt of it. But I will say this, he's a threat to score a touchdown every single week.
Oh, I mean, you have to play him. But.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on that, guys?
I mean, the Buccaneers, they do get Arizona this week, and Trevor Lawrence was able to throw 3 touchdowns on them. So, maybe Ibuka can do something. But I mean, I don't know, Baker Mayfield's one of the toughest freaking players in the NFL. Yeah. What he did his last year in Cleveland and playing through all of those injuries, if they allow that guy in the stadium this week, he'll play. If he can walk out on the field, I think he'll play.
The good news is it's his non-throwing shoulder. So
yeah, it's his left shoulder. So yeah. I mean, but it's the same way with Carson Wentz, though, right? And we saw how that went for him. It was just hit after hit after hit. But yeah, I don't know. I say give Ibuka one more week before you start to stress too much. The Rams defense that was a really tough defense, and they've had a rough couple of weeks there in Tampa.
5, yeah, just got back. 5 of the last 6 games. Joey's right. He's got under 10 fantasy points in 5 of the last 6 games. But I mean, he's putting up the targets. He's got 12 targets and 9 targets, 9, 8. So it's the defense is the key in it on him. Like I said, I just think it's a Tampa Bay offense problem more so than a Ibuka problem. But it's definitely causing Ibuka's ceiling to be non-existent. I mean, if
sucks, waiting 7 weeks to bring Bucky Irving into this mess. You're waiting 2 months to bring Bucky back for this.
I'm so glad I faded Bucky. I just his second round. I thought his cost was too high. I didn't hate. I don't hate the player. When he's on the field, he's electric. But second round is that's pricey, man. Jonathan Taylor was going right around where he goes. So Jonathan Taylor, JSN. Trey McBride. There's just so many better choices in that range.
Yep.
All right, so what are we at? We're at about 8:06. So we'll start talking about the Monday Night Football game. We got Carolina at San Francisco. 8:15 p.m. I'll give my quick thoughts on this game. I know Steve likes the over. I know Vegas set the over at 49. I don't see it going that high. I hate to say it. I hope it does just for our parlay because I know Steve picked that. But, I mean, this is two teams that like to run the ball a lot. So that right there, if the defense, I mean, the defenses will have to really, really be playing bad, I think, for this to get to 49 points. So I'm thinking just general thoughts on the game. I think it's gonna be run heavy for both teams. Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard, CMC, and Brian Robinson, all four being involved in this game. Probably each team running close to 30 times is my guess. Bryce Young, is fresh off of a big performance, and Brock Purdy being healthy. But still, you're looking at just George Kittle. Ricky Pearsall's coming back in his second game. I don't know. When I look at these two teams, I see time of possession battle. I don't see shootout. I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on this? We'll kick it over to you, Joe. We'll let you go first on this one.
I think you're right with the time possession. I mean, you would probably want to mix in Hubbard too, just to keep 49ers over on the sidelines, because their offense, a whole lot better than what Carolina's is. It's more condensed, but I mean, Purdy and Kittle, they'll have a good game, but hopefully Dale and them can keep it over. And then I like Jalen Coker tonight too. As my prop, 40-plus receiving yards for him. He gets an upgrade over 49ers cornerback Upton Stout in that matchup also.
There you go. Was it Jalen Coker over 40 receiving yards?
Yeah.
Kick it over to Josh.
I agree with you guys. I think that if Carolina can get out and move the ball, I mean, going East Coast to West Coast, if they can keep CMC, keep him on the sideline, right, and try to I think so for Carolina, ideally you get out and you score first and try to run the ball, keep the 49ers on the sideline. I don't know if that'll happen or not. I went with CMC 70-plus rushing yards. Could probably juice that up, but I liked him at 70-plus, minus 110. I'll take that.
Revenge game, I was going to say, too. He's old, too.
I was going to say that earlier. Like, has it been too long now for this to be a revenge game for him? I mean,
because it was the team that drafted him. So
every time he plays him, it's a revenge game.
I don't think that ever goes away when it's the team that drafted you. Nice.
Well, in that case, go ahead and throw CMC down for 2 touchdowns.
There you go. I can see it happening.
Dan?
Well, for me, the over-under of me making it to halftime, not asleep on my couch, I'm taking the under.
Me too. I'm already yawning away, bro.
Me too. Last week we did Trey Tucker on his longest catch, and I think we hit that on the second drive. So we're going to keep the hot streak alive. Xavier Leggett's over 13.5 on his longest catch. I looked at his game log. If he has over 13.5 yards for his longest catch, the Panthers are 5-0. If not, they're 0-4. So let's get Leggett a catch over 14 yards and we'll win. So I'm going to bet that.
Nice. I love the longest reception bets. I swear to God that they maintain your betting bankroll if you select the right ones week in and week out, man.
There we go.
There's the board. We got Steve. We already mentioned Steve's over 49. He likes the over. I'm not so confident in that, but like I said, I hope it hits just for our parlay.
I will say this: I have I have put my own money on this parlay every week that we've done it. Maybe this is the week. I feel good about this one this week. I feel good about
I know. Geez, we got to.
Joe, you didn't mention yours yet, did you? Or did I miss that?
I did not mention mine. I just talked about how it was going to be run heavy, and I think it's going to be a time of possession battle, and I think that's going to lead to it going under. But I could be wrong. It could turn into a shootout. But yeah, I like Brian Robinson anytime touchdown. Two out of the last 3 weeks, he's gotten in the end zone. He's gotten the goal line carries. I see CMC getting a lot of work in this one, and it may lead to them. I could see them getting, driving down the field, him, capping off a big play and then being kind of gassed and coming out at, I don't think it's going to happen consistently, but I think there is going to be an opportunity that Brian Robinson gets inside the 5-yard line to score a touchdown. So, and I like the odds. I'm always trying to juice up our parlay for us. Some weeks I'll go conservative and take something that I think is definitely going to happen. But, I took a look last minute, and I just, like I said, Brian Robinson, he's had 2 touchdowns in the last 3 games. He's fresh. One thing I noticed about when he gets in there, he looks fresh. One impressive. I don't know if you can. It's an impressive goal line, most impressive goal line touchdown you can get. I guess they're not very impressive touchdowns, but when he gets the opportunity, he punches it in. He's gotten 8 carries over the last 2 games. 16 carries, eight carries in each game. He's averaging. In his last 21 carries, he's got 118 yards. So he's averaging over 5 yards a carry. So I could see him getting a little bit more involved, in this game based on how I think it's going to play out. So I'm down with rolling the dice on a Brian Robinson anytime touchdown. Sorry, guys. I'm like,
I like Brian Robinson anytime touchdown way better than a Brian Thomas anytime touchdown.
Don't bet on Brian Thomas to get an anytime touchdown. We got to go Broncos in here. I like it. I don't mind it. I wouldn't mind the Patriots-Broncos AFC championship battle.
Brady versus Manning again.
Brady, you mean Mady and
Maybe,
Mady and
I'm
Nixon.
just saying that old time say Brady and Manning, Broncos. And
no way, man. That was the Peyton Manning that could beat us.
No, I hated that. What are we going to do on the turkey? Do a show about the turkey bonanza NFSC?
Yeah, Joe. You want to pitch that for us Tuesday night? You could pitch it if you want. Tuesday.
Go ahead. You fine.
Tuesday. What happened to Dan?
He disappeared.
He
bounced out.
Oh, there he is. He's in the studio.
He said he wasn't going to make it to halftime. He didn't even make it to kickoff.
The internet here in Southwest Ohio, not very good.
Well, Josh is fine. No.
He's on that satellite shit.
Would you click the button? I used to do that when I first started doing the shows.
You got excited for this Panthers-Niners duel shootout.
So we're in the middle of. So Tuesday night, we're going to put together on NFFC. There is a Thanksgiving contest called the Turkey Day Bonanza. Basically, a DFS contest using all of the Thanksgiving games. There's no salaries though. You just pick a roster.
Have to have one player from each team at least.
Yeah, and is that the rules? It's been
at least one.
So you need one player from each team, and what is it? 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a flex, a kicker, and a D.
Same regular.
Yeah. 10 players.
10 players. You have to have one person on each team. We're gonna Steve's gonna join us on that one as well. Steve D'Angelo. We're going to split it 5 ways. One team. We're going to put together this team. We're going to record it on. Are we going to go live? I don't know if we're going to go live or not. We're at least going to record it Tuesday night. And if it's recorded, we're going to play it live on Turkey Day, probably 11 a.m., 12 a.m., just before kickoff, Eastern time,
Right.
of course. And if we do it live, we do it live. But, the problem with doing it live is, you get some people copy us. And we kind of want, it kind of sucks if we're sharing a team with somebody. But it is.
I don't mind. We can talk chalk, but we'll keep a couple to ourselves.
We don't want everybody to know who our
guys know
kicker
who our
is.
first pick's
No, I try.
I think we should record,
Joey,
to
you
be
know what our
honest with
first
you.
pick's going to be, right?
Do what?
Patrick
Here's our
Mahomes.
first pick right here, boys. Thursday night. He's back, baby.
Joey Burrow. Yeah.
And plus, I think our sleeper pick could be on that opposite team. Maybe, maybe, I don't know.
It could be likely.
Nice. No, I think we'll probably end up. I think broadcasting something on Turkey Day before the game starts kind of cool. To be honest with you, give the folks something to listen to while they're waiting for their turkey to be done and football games to start. Maybe they get home from a high school football game and bam, we're there talking about who the guys we put together for a team. So
We
think
can. If Steve don't care, we'll just call it Fantasy Savvy.
Yeah.
we'll name the team Fantasy Savvy. I like it.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Hey, whoever pay for it, let me know, and I'll send you PayPal money.
Yeah, we'll figure that out, Joe. It's no big deal. I don't think maybe we shouldn't take any money from Josh since he's put the money on all this parlay.
What do you mean you guys haven't been placing that bet?
I've been doing it.
Josh is over here losing.
No.
Josh is over here lighting $10 bills
Hey,
on
man,
fire for
you know
us.
what? Here's what I always think. If you're gonna give somebody advice, whether it's a friend or whoever, or it's on a podcast or something, you got to be willing to put your money where your mouth is. Don't tell somebody to start somebody that you're not going to. And I wouldn't put something out there that this parlay we put together if I wasn't willing to throw $10 at it.
Well, the last 2 weeks, I'm using Jalen Coulter tonight, and I used Tyler Lockett last week. So I do. My props is always players I'm using. So I will say that.
There we go.
Just for some fantasy magic, we'll see what happens here.
All right, fellas. Once again, it's a great week talking football with you guys. Dan, Josh, thank you for doing the injury report this week and carrying me along. Hopefully, I'll be better prepared next week. Won't have to work as many hours. But yeah.
Hey, Black Friday will be here before you know it. So Turkey Day will be over. They'll be in retail.
Yeah, that's my next day off. I can't wait for Turkey Day. It's my favorite holiday. Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday. So, once again, appreciate everybody that tunes in. If you're not subscribed to the Fantasy Savvy channel, subscribe. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I think it was at 981 the last time I checked. Steve's a great dude. Does great work. He's grinding out all these shows late night. Very sharp individual, good friend. We're doing everything we can to help him. Appreciate him for letting us do the Monday reaction show on this channel. It's always a good time. Hope everybody gets what they need tonight to win their fantasy matchup. We know it's crunch time, almost fantasy playoffs, big matchups. One win, one loss could define the rest of your season going forward. So if you need to, if you need a 30-point lead to hold up and you're going against the 49ers defense and Ricky Pearsall, I hope that comes true for you. I hope they stay under 30 points and you take the lead in your division and you go on to win the wins, and you go on to finish in first place in your division.
Or 30 or 36 from Chubba Hubbard. Let's go.
Yeah, if you need 36 from Chubba Hubbard, you need 14 from CMC. Whatever it is you guys need, I hope you win your matchups.
Outside tonight's game, like I said earlier, we got 1,200 player minutes remaining. We got to do something at least next 2 weeks.
Make your moves.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, let's close up. Let's go watch the Monday night game and try not to fall asleep on the couch. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Thank you guys for joining me tonight, talking football. We'll see you guys tomorrow night.
Okay.
And everybody that joined us, have a good night.
Okay.